What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Brian Mello with Marty's Buick GMC and Chevrolet, and in today's video, we'll be talking about a new Silverado ZL1 and asking the all-important question of the series, would you buy one? So let's get into it. Alright, so it seems like it's been a long time since Chevrolet brought us a real street truck. Some of you watching might remember the old Chevrolet 454, which might not have been some groundbreaking vehicle at the time, but it gave the people what they wanted. A huge engine in a relatively small pickup that would easily transform rubber into smoke. And although it was a full-size truck, it was the lightest of Chevy's full-size offering. It came in two-wheel drive, it had a beefier front sway bar, it had quicker steering, and it left the factory with 275 wide tires, which at the time wasn't something you saw very often. The 454 cubic inch V8 was rated at 230 horsepower and 385 pound-feet of torque, which may not sound at all impressive by today's standards, but believe me, back in 1990, when this bad boy was first introduced, it was a big deal. And although some may disagree with me, I think the Chevy 454 is sort of what kicked off the performance truck market, because shortly after the release of the 454, some might know where I'm going with this, Ford, of course, came out with the Lightning. And I'm talking about the real Lightning, not this thing that they decided to call Lightning, this one right here. And then, of course, in early 2003, Chevy upped its game and released the Silverado SS.
Silverado SS with a 345 horsepower Vortec V8 and 20-inch wheels. Chevy Silverado, an American revolution.
A high-performance pickup based on the Silverado extended cab with a fleet-side box and a few interior and exterior enhancements to set it apart from the normal Silverado. It was equipped with the 6-liter LQ9 V8 rated at 345 horsepower and 380 pound-feet of torque, matched up to a 4-speed transmission. It was actually the same engine that Cadillac utilized in the second-generation all-wheel drive Escalade. So now you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Silverado SS also came standard with all-wheel drive until 2005, when they smartened up and a two-wheel drive version became available, because let's all be honest with ourselves for a minute. What is the point of a sport pickup if you just can't blow the tires off the back? Right? Right. During the early 2000s, the sport truck scene saw tremendous growth, and much of that due, at least in my opinion, is the Fast and the Furious. Ford stepped things up with a supercharged version of the Lightning, which, coincidentally enough, made an appearance in the film as Brian O'Connor's parts truck when he worked for Harry at the Racer's Edge. Let's all remember the Buster. Rest in peace. But in 2004, Ford ended the Lightning, while Ram decided to bring the SRT-10 to market. The SRT-10 was relatively short-lived, and by 2006, both the SRT-10 Ram and Chevy's SS pickup were also both taken out of production, essentially marking the end of the sport truck era. If we fast forward to today, the factory sport or street trucks have all but disappeared in favor of more off-road focused solutions like Ford's Raptor, or Ram's TRX, and of course Chevy's newest offering, the Silverado ZR2. And while, don't get me wrong, these are all really cool trucks in their own right, but I feel like the world still needs some street trucks, because not everyone is looking to jump their trucks through the air or take their 60, 70, 80, 90, or at this point, $100,000 pickups through the woods. And this made me wonder, what if GM decided to release a sport truck for 2023? And what exactly would it look like? Well, thanks to my buddy Jim, who goes by the name JLord8 on Instagram, we can see what that would look like with this perfectly executed dream turned reality. The 2022 Silverado ZL1. Now, at first glance, I have to say that for me personally, if I had to decide between this or the Silverado ZR2, as someone who owned a Ford Lightning back in the day and more recently a second-gen Camaro, this would for sure be my choice. Taking inspiration from both the ZR2 and Camaro ZL1, Jim blended the two vehicles together seamlessly. I mean, this thing absolutely looks like it could come from the factory. We've got black 22-inch ZL1 1LE wheels wrapped in ultra-wide Goodyear Eagle F1 tires. We've got the ZL1 front bumper, can't miss that thing, with carbon fiber splitter and canards to help bring just a little bit more downforce to the front end. And then completing the aero kit, you can see right here that we also have carbon fiber side skirts. The raised ZR2 hood works perfectly to give us enough room to stuff the supercharged 6.2-liter LT4 between the front fenders, because obviously it's got to be the LT4, right? And if we look behind the lower valance, we can even see what appears to be a shiny new intercooler. Now, this wouldn't be a sport truck without a stance to match, and this thing certainly has that covered with its lowered magnetic ride suspension. And real quick before I forget, being a performance truck, we're also going to want this thing to stop on a dime. So we've got that covered as well, as you can see right here from the red Brembo brake calipers peeking out from behind those blacked out 1LE wheels. I have to say, the more that I look at this truck, the more that I want it. Flow tie and all, this would be the ultimate street truck with absolutely nothing else on the market that could compete. And if the price could stick around, I don't know, I mean, it's a regular cab, so $50,000, $60,000 range, I can't imagine it not selling like hotcakes. As I've said in the past, I know GM watches my videos. I know they read the comments. So let me know what you guys think of this thing and answer the all-important question of the series: would you buy one? As always, I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you made it this far into the video, if you could do me a huge favor by just smashing that like button, it really means a lot, helps me out in a huge way. Maybe share this with a friend, subscribe if you haven't already for fresh General Motors related news and content every single week. Be sure to check out my friends over at gmpartsdepartment.com for all your GM OEM parts needs, and I will catch you all in the very next video. Thanks again for watching, and take care.